Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Estrella Virtual Visit Series. My name is Allison Campbell with Estrella Consulting, and I'm so excited to welcome Chanel Lamarche from University of Ottawa in Canada. Our virtual visit series is designed to introduce you in a variety of our colleges, introduce you all to a variety of colleges and their staff so you get to know them in a more personal way. So thank you, Chanel, for taking the time to join us. We really appreciate it. If you don't mind just taking a few minutes and introducing yourself and telling us how long you've been with University of Ottawa.
Yes, of course. Hi, everybody. My name is Chanel. I am the liaison officer here at the University of Ottawa, which is based in Ontario in Canada. I've been working at the university for 2 years now, and I focus mainly on the United States. So all the students that are coming currently studying in the United States, I can help them with the admission process to apply at the University of Ottawa.
Great, great. You mentioned that Ottawa is in Ontario. So you're gonna have to look that up if you're watching this. You're not sure where Ontario is. But can you tell us a little bit about your institution? Just what's the enrollment numbers, the type of institution, like in America, we have like the research institution or liberal arts institution, and just really any need to know or points of pride about University of Ottawa.
Yes, the institution in Canada is a bit different than in the United States. So we don't have any enrollment rate or things like that. So the University of Ottawa is actually based in Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada. It is between Toronto and Montreal. A lot of people can geographically place the city with those parameters. Also, the university is a big campus, so we have over 41,000 undergrad students coming to the University of Ottawa. So it's pretty big. And
Wow,
the
yes.
reason being is because we are the biggest bilingual French and English university in the world. So a lot of our students do decide to study in French. A lot of them do decide to study in English, and some decide to do both. So a question I do get a lot is, do I have to speak French to come to U Ottawa? And the answer is no. If you don't speak a word of French, don't worry. A lot of students here do not speak a word of French, so you're more than welcome to come to our campus. Yeah.
That's great. That's really interesting to know.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm glad that you kind of made that disclaimer because people might hear that are watching this and be like, oh, well, I don't speak French, so that's automatically out. So um, I'm glad that
Yeah.
you were able to clarify that for us.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think, I mean, usually we kind of follow like a similar script when we're doing these interviews, but I feel like you might be the first Canadian university that we've had. So do you mind just kind of giving a brief overview of the application process um,
Hmm.
for students that are looking to attend Canadian schools?
Yes. So I'm going to speak specifically for the University of Ottawa because I know for other Canadian institutions, sometimes the process is a bit different. So how it works to apply at U Ottawa is that we have an application, a portal online, which is similar to like Common App, where you just log in and then you choose the institution that you would like to apply that is within Ontario. So because University of Ottawa is Ontario, you can go on the portal, you create yourself a login. You just log in, create yourself a profile, and then you can choose up to 3 programs. So it's up to you. It's all the same cost. So the cost is $258 Canadian to apply, and then you can choose 3 programs. It's up to you what you want to apply to. There's different options available to you. You can see it when you apply. And then the only thing that University of Ottawa look at for your admission is your transcripts. So we're only looking at your grades. So we look at your grade 11 and grade 12 transcripts for
Okay.
admission. Some programs do have some prerequisites. So whether you're deciding to go into the science field, of course, you're going to be needing some prerequisites regarding chemistry, physics, things like that. And if you're going to more towards like humanities, then we require most of the time an English class, and sometimes depending on the program, it could be like a math or things like that could be added on. And then we only look at your transcript, and then you receive a decision based on that.
Okay. And when you say three, you go onto this portal, you choose Ontario as the province. Am I saying that
So the
correctly?
Yeah, it's very different. So the portal is called ouac.on.ca. So we call it often UAC. And when you go on there, it is for all the institution in the province of Ontario. So
Okay,
once you go there, you create your profile and then you can choose where you want to apply. So you can choose the University of Ottawa and then you choose your program as well.
gotcha. So when you say choosing three options, you mean three college options within that province.
It's up to you. If you want to apply to three different colleges, that's an option that you get to do. If you want to apply to three programs within one institution, that's also available to you.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
So for a student that's like, for example, really wants to go into nursing and they wants to have better odds to get accepted, then they can apply to three different institutions in the province of Ontario in the nursing program.
Okay. All right. Very good. Speaking of programs, can you highlight again, you said 41,000 undergrads, which is that's pretty big. I mean, that's comparable to like an
Mhm.
Ohio, what an Ohio State would be here in the States. What are some of your top programs? Like, what are you seeing a lot of people are flocking to?
hmm So we have six direct entry faculties at the University of Ottawa. So we have the Faculty of Arts. In this faculty, we have also like programs like acting, the BFA, music, visual arts, but we also have other things like communication, English literature, history, geography. So those are type of programs. We also have the Faculty of Social Sciences, which is our biggest faculty here on campus. And the most popular program are political science. Ottawa being the
Okay.
capital is probably one of the programs that we do get a lot. Also, we have international relations, public relation, administration, psychology as well. That's one of the programs that we have. And after that, we have the Faculty of Science. So for anybody interested in biomedical science, physics, chemistry, neuroscience, we have those programs. We have the Faculty of Engineering as well. Engineering, we have mechanical, electrical, civil engineering. So we have pretty much, I think we have over 10 options to choose from.
Okay.
We have our School of Business. So we have the Bachelor of Commerce with the option of finance, accounting, human resources, and so on. And we also have the Faculty of Law, which is a bit different in Canada to enter. So you have to do an undergrad programs before being able to enter the Faculty of Law if you want to study law here in Canada. So those
Okay.
are our main programs that we have, but we do have over 500 options because you can add minors, majors, and things like that to your programs.
Okay. So like you said, you were strictly looking at the transcript that a student would provide. So you said there were some prerequisites, but are you looking for the specific direct entries to those different faculties? Are you looking for specific coursework to lean into like, okay, this person wants business, so they've been involved in a math stats class, they've done like a DECA course or something like that. Are you looking for curriculum that kind of follows suit to whatever faculty they're applying to, or can you really apply to anything aside from, like you said, the ones that have some very specific prerequisites? Like,
Yes, exactly. So we look at your classes. We don't really look at your coursework and what field you were kind of like leaning towards. So we only look at the classes that you need, so the prerequisites for your specific programs, and then that's is the only thing that we use for your admission.
okay. What about standardized testing? Does that play into account?
Not for admission purposes. So we don't look at the ACTs at all for admission. However, that can be used if you want to apply for scholarships or like private bursaries that you can apply to. That's something that you can add on to your application that can help you get a scholarship after that.
Okay. And is a student typically considered for scholarship at the point of admission, or is that a separate application?
So that depends on the scholarship. So we have two admission-based scholarship for international students. So that's something that's very specific to as well. Important to mention if a student has the dual citizenship, so
Okay.
meaning the Canadian and American citizenship, they can be qualifying for different scholarship. However, if the student is on as the American citizenship, then not he's eligible for those two scholarships. So they are brand new this year. Well, I mean, this
Okay.
year for fall 2026. So
Okay.
students who has an average of 80% and higher, which is very similar to the US curriculum, will be eligible to a scholarship of $10,000 per year. That's renewable every year. So
Okay.
that's something that's very interesting for students. And we will also have the International Excellence Scholarship. So this one is for students that has an average of 90% or higher. They can get on top of that a $15,000 that can be added to it. And
So
this one is
15,000 on
limited.
top of the 10,000.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very
That's
cool.
in Canadian dollars as well, something to keep in mind.
Okay. Perfect. Let's talk a little bit about campus life. So you mentioned Ottawa is the capital of Canada. And you said there's a lot of access, like political science being one of your biggest majors and having that access to like the government systems and stuff like that. But what do students do on campus or off campus?
Yeah, there's a lot of things to do on campus for sure. So the campus itself of the University of Ottawa is downtown Ottawa. So we are maybe like a 10-minute walk from Parliament Hill. So there's a lot of things to do. We also have what we call the Rideau Canal that's longing around the campus. So that's a nice waterway that students get to go. And something that's really specific to Ottawa is in the winter, the canal becomes the longest skating rink in the world. So some students decide to commute skating to go to classes, which is very typical of Ottawa. So that's something that's very interesting in the winter time. But on campus, we have many activities. We have so many student association that organize specific. Sometimes they do a road trip. Sometimes they decide to go to a trip to Toronto, Montreal. In the winter, there's a lot of like ski trips if you want to do some things like that. Also, just on campus, they have a specific, like if you're into a book club, there's activities like that. And off campus, we have hiking. So we have hills available to students that's maybe like a 20-minute drive from Ottawa, ski, whether you want to ski or just hike. We also have the waterway. We have a river that's long in there. So there's a lot of activities if you want to go to the beach, if you want to go paddle boarding, if you want to go swimming. There's a lot to do. We also have many sports team as well in Ottawa. So if you want to go to a game, whether it's a soccer, football, hockey, we have a lacrosse team, we have a baseball team. So there's a lot of things to do as well.
That's awesome. So it sounds like it's kind of the best of both worlds. Like you're in that city urban environment for school, but the outdoors are just a short trip away. And for your students that like
Exactly.
the skating, the skiing, the hiking, the biking, like that is definitely accessible to them.
Yes, absolutely.
They're really cool. Now I want to come visit. That sounds like a lot of fun. Let's talk about housing. So I think kind of like leaning into that urban location that you were referencing, I think
Mhm.
sometimes that is something that students kind of maybe don't think about, or pa parents, kind of have a hard reality as far as like your residential campus status. So are students required to live on campus? Is there a residency requirement for a number of years? Are they guaranteed housing? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, for sure. So we do have 10 residences available to students. Some of them are directly on campus, some are considered off campus. And what we say by off campus, it is a 5-minute walk to get to campus.
Okay.
So it is not mandatory for students to go to housing. It's up to them to make the decision if they want to go on residence on campus or if they want to make their own arrangement and find an apartment with friends, that's also available to them. But I'm going to talk more about the housing specifically. So the housing is guaranteed for first year students. So if
Okay.
you apply at UR Ottawa, you're going to be guaranteed to have a place in residence. That's not going to be an issue. We have 4 different layouts to choose from. So we have some more traditional dorms where you're sharing a room with another roommate, and up to an apartment style where you have your own bedroom, you have also the kitchen, living room in your apartment. So there's different styles to choose from. Of course, the cost varies. So if you decide it's cheaper if you decide to share a room with a roommate compared to if you choose more the apartment style where it's cost a bit more money that way. The housing cost is not included in your tuition fee. So that's something to keep in mind.
Okay.
It is separate. So when you apply to the University of Ottawa, you're going to be paying your tuition fees, which is only for your program. If you do want to have housing, that's going to be on top of it. So the fees are not included that way.
Okay, so if someone was to receive admission to the university and
Hmm.
a they get a financial aid award or something like that, it's
Hmm.
only going to indicate the tuition cost and the fees. Um,
Exactly.
so what would they do after that? Like, would they just indicate that on their initial application that they're interested in housing, or is it once they've been accepted and maybe they put down a deposit, then they can indicate that they need housing?
Yes, so housing is completely separate from admission. So how it works is that you're gonna have to apply on the portal. So once you apply at the University of Ottawa, you're gonna have access to the portal that it's called Liaison. And on that portal, you get to apply for housing directly. And when you apply to housing, there's gonna be a form that you have to fill out. It's kind of like a personality test. For the simple reason that it helps us do the matching with a roommate, a potential roommate that will have a similar interest as you. Most of the time, and the housing, the student fill out the form online, and then they get to choose which residence they would prefer, which layout they would like, and then they complete that test, and then they submit that application.
Okay. I'm really glad that you're explaining this because I think, again, there's just like not housing scarcity, but in some of these more urban places where it's really expensive to live, if a student has housing guaranteed for 1 or 2 years and then their junior year, they're expected to find an apartment in Boston or in New York
Mm-hmm.
City, and there's just no way that they can afford that. It's just something that people are so excited on the front end to maybe go to the university and attend that they don't think about what it will look like in 2 or 3 years when they're forced to potentially be off campus. So, from what I'm understanding, housing is available for first year students or for all 4 years. You can opt into that for 4 years, or it's just an
For
option. Like, go
all
ahead.
four-year students are eligible to housing. However, it is only guaranteed for first-year student, guaranteed a
Gotcha.
place. If you are in your first year and you are staying on in residence and you want to continue for your second year, then your place is guaranteed as well. However, if you decide after your second year to go off campus, then after that, your place is not guaranteed if you want to keep staying in residence.
Okay, great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That sounds really good. And if you see that I keep looking down, I'm just taking notes because I like to type everything out. So then if we ever have a student that wants some information or if one of our consultants needs something, I have it all written down.
That's
Um,
perfect.
okay, perfect. Um, so let's talk about maybe any niche programs that you have. So is there anything academically or maybe like an internship or a program that you have that is just really super specific to University of Ottawa, like that you guys can stand alone and say, we offer this, this is really great, or maybe that you've been recognized for.
Yeah, maybe I'm not going to talk to specific programs, but we have what we call streams. So that's something that you can add on top of your program. So what streams that we have that comes to mind right now is we have a co-op program. So if you want to do internship and learn at the same time, that's something that you can add. And we also have a French immersion stream that you can add. So if you don't, if you speak a little bit of French and want to do some studies in bilingual, then that's an option to you. So I'm going to
Okay.
talk a little bit more about those two streams. So for example, if you are applying to a program in political science, so you're applying to the program in political science, then you can add the co-op stream to this. The co-op stream, how it works here is that your first 2 years of your undergrad will be just regular. So you're going to be doing 2 terms at school on campus. And after that, you're going to be alternating from doing a work placement. That's a duration of 4 months. And after that, you go back to school. So it's like
Okay.
work, school. And it does add a term to your studies. So it would take 4 years and a half for you to graduate instead of 4 years. So that's something to keep in mind.
Okay.
And those internships are paid, so you get to make some money and you're working full time as well. So that does help as well in paying your tuition fees.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we have the French immersion stream, so that you can apply as well. You can add on. So how does that work? Is that you have to take 3 out of 5 courses in French. You need to have a basic level of French to be able to succeed in the French immersion stream. And if you apply to that one, then you get the help from the immersion mentors. You get some support as well to learn French. You have also other peers that are in the same class that you can help if you are having some difficulties, or if there's some things you haven't fully understand. And also, there's a scholarship attached to that. So if you decide to add the French immersion stream, then you get a scholarship on top of that. And also, what's cool about the University of Ottawa is if you decide to take a class, whether it's French or in English, you can choose a language to write your final exams or your homeworks. So for example, if you decide to take a class in French because you want to give it a shot, you want to try, you can still write your homework and your essays in English if that's something that you would like to do. The
Okay.
only exception is if you're taking a French class, like French literature or English literature, then you would have to write in the language of the class. But that's something that a lot of students do enjoy. It gives them the
Okay.
flexibility to be more comfortable when that kind of time comes.
For sure. You're not going to penalize them for kind of branching out and
No.
challenging themselves with that language. So, and I think, we talk with our students about this, just any way that you can make yourself more diversified or even indispensable. If you are bilingual or multilingual, that's such a fantastic skill, like post-graduation to say that you can speak multiple languages. You definitely would be an asset for an employer if you could do that. All right, let's talk a little bit more about student support. So I actually have two questions, one on the academic side, one on more on the social side. So on the academic side, do you offer any type of special student support services for maybe students that are coming in with neurodiversity, a learning disability, dyslexia, ADHD, et cetera? So, and I will just say this because I feel like we kind of been falling into this where it's just like, oh, we have an Office of Disability Services. You go in, you let them know, which is great. And I think most places have that, but is there anything like above and beyond that is helpful for your
Well,
students?
how it works at U Ottawa is that we do have an academic support team, and if you want to apply to get those services and get that help, is that you will have to fill out a test. You have to complete a test to your
Okay.
specific need, and after that, the team is gonna offer you and suggest what accommodation you would be eligible to. So whether that you would need somebody to translate some questions for you, if you need a transcript for something specific, if you need more time to complete some homeworks or your final exams, there's a lot of different support that's available to you. That's kind of like how we're doing it here at the University of Ottawa.
So you do the test or fill out the paperwork, whatever needs to be done, then they provide suggestions for
Yes,
accommodations and then help you move forward with those.
exactly, exactly.
Okay. So you can't come to them and say like, oh, I have ADHD, I need extra time on tests. Like they need to be the ones who are evaluating it. They wouldn't just take a diagnosis from 5 years
They
ago.
would, yes, they would take that. If you are already diagnosed with something specific
Okay.
like ADHD, then they would also already have the arrangement done for somebody that's diagnosed with that condition.
Gotcha. Okay. But like you said, it just basically it needs to be evaluated. So it's not like we're given like there's certain preferences or um like extra time or attention to someone who might not need it necessarily, just wants like a
Exactly.
leg up. Okay.
And it cannot be done with your professor in your class. Like you cannot go to your professor and ask for extra time. You have to go through the academic support office.
Okay. Great. I'm gonna write that down. Support team. Great. And then conversely, do you offer any type of honors programs or honors colleges?
We don't have that here at the University of Ottawa. I don't know if it's something that's common with Canadian institutions. So, what exactly is it that it is in the United States? I'm not familiar with an honors program.
Okay, fair enough. It must be challenging enough that it doesn't even need an honors program.
I mean, maybe we call it something else.
Yeah.
That's something that would have to look into.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad I asked that question. Okay. So also in the realm of supporting students, does your campus offer LGBTQ plus support or gender neutral housing? Like, can you talk a little bit about like your diversity on campus and your initiatives?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we do have a Pride team here on campus. So they organize a bunch of activities to be inclusive. They also you can register to be part of if you want to be a member, if you want to be actively involved in those activities. That's also something that you get to do. When it comes to housing, when you fill out that form that I mentioned earlier, when you are applying for housing, you can specify if there's a specific need that you're looking for. So we do have some gender neutral bathroom available in housing and on campus as well. If you want to have a specific roommate, there's also things that you can mention. We also have a Pride sidewalk on campus, which a lot of students do appreciate. So it does show the diversity and acceptance as well. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of activities within the city of Ottawa too. So if you want to do activities outside the campus, there's a big community as well that can support you when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I feel like we find in most of the larger cities that it is pretty open-minded and, accepting of all types of people. So I'm glad that you were able just to concrete that for us and make sure that
Mhm.
that is going to be an acceptive and supportive place. So thank you. Okay, let's do two more questions. So, do you track or considered demonstrated interest, as in a student? Does it matter in the admissions process if a student is reaching out to you, connecting with you, or is it pretty much like you said, just based on your transcript?
Well, for admission, it does not matter because it's only based on your transcript.
Okay.
However, for scholarship, that is tracked. So if you show an interest for a specific field, or if we see that you're really committed and you're really interested in, again, political science, for example, then that can
Okay.
helps with your scholarship, the one that you can apply. So the specific bursaries and scholarship that you have to apply to. Just because I can follow up with the committee, the selection committee, and I can say that this student specifically is a good candidate for this specific scholarship, and then they can review the file. So that does help with that.
Okay. I'll ask this question before I kind of wrap it up, but what are your tips for, I mean, primarily we work with students across the US, we have a few international students, but like, what are your tips for American students looking to attend University of Ottawa? Like logistically, what are things that they need to be mindful of in order to make this happen?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that comes to mind is that the immigration process. So that's something that can take a while. So being an American, if you want to come study in Canada, you would need to apply for a study permit. And depending on the time, that can take a while. That can take a while, can take up from 6 weeks to maybe 2 months. It's hard to tell. Also, we do have some immigration consultant available to students when they apply at the University of Ottawa. So if ever you need help with your application, your process, we have some consultant that are specialized with the immigration process to help you with that.
That's great. That's really helpful. I think like as
Mhm.
IECs, we do our best to help advise the students in all processes of the application process, but like there are things that are tricky and are changing, so
Yes.
for me to say, oh, you need to do these three things in order to, apply and matriculate to a Canadian university, that might change in a day's
Hmm.
notice. So to have someone on your
Absolutely.
end that can be like, these are the things you need: this visa, you need this passport, you need this study permit, like whatever it looks like, I think is really helpful and resourceful. And I'm
Hmm.
sure that I mean, if that's a goal for you is to grow your international population or get more students from the US, it's definitely probably a person that you need to have on your campus. So we appreciate the help with that for
And
sure.
that's something that you have to keep in mind because sometimes the admission process itself can take a while, but you have to take for account the immigration process to add on top of that. So it can the whole process itself to be admitted and be have all your papers on time can take a few months.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, if you're watching this, you're interested, definitely utilize the resources at the particular colleges. Like reach out to someone like Chanel, who's going to be able to guide you through all aspects of the application, who can answer your questions, can connect you to the right people, whether it's, with the immigration, whether it's financial aid. I'm sure we could talk more about that. I know we only have a half hour and we're winding down, but I mean, those are probably questions that families have, like how do I pay for college? What needs to be done from like financial aid form standpoint. So let's actually, we'll just touch on that. Is your financial aid process completely separate from, say, the FAFSA?
We are a qualified institution for FAFSA. So if you're applying for FAFSA, you will have the financial aid through our financial aid office. I'm not the specialist when it comes to that specific FAFSA application. So, but you can still come to me and I will help you guide you to the right person.
Okay.
So there's other one. Let me just see here what the other ones that we have. We do have the Sally Mae as well, student loan, if that's something that you're applying from, the
Okay.
Earnest student loans, and also the Vermont Student Assistant Corporation as well that we do accept.
Okay, so if you're an American student looking at University of Ottawa, if you fill out the FAFSA, that would be something that you would accept as an indicator of how
Mm-hmm.
much a family could be
Yep.
responsible for paying potentially. Okay, great. That's good. And like I said, they're eligible for those two international student scholarships, which may help subset the cost a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very cool. All right, last but not least, this is the easy one, hopefully. This is kind of the softball. Um, what, who would you say is the most interesting alumnus? And if that one doesn't ring a bell, who is the most exciting guest or campus speaker that you've had in recent memory? So either one you can pick.
That's a very good question. I think I'm gonna go with our most famous alumni, which is Alex Trebek. I'm not sure if you are familiar with him.
Duh. Who is Alex Trebek?
He was the host of Geopardy for like years, years.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have a hall dedicated to him, and he did a lot of contribution to the university as well. He used to come to our campus, but however, that's not possible anymore. But he is probably our most famous alumni that we have from the University of Ottawa. I think he is from Ottawa as well.
That's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. I did not know that, so my mind is blown. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely a Jeopardy family here. My dad, I feel like, could be the ringer on Jeopardy, and I always tell him he needs to apply, but he never has. And my kids like it too, so it's kind of fun. But thank you so
Cool.
much, Chanel, for your time. This was wonderful. If you're watching this, if you have more questions about University of Ottawa, please reach out to Chanel. And best of luck to you this recruiting season. We really appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.